Coming up on this program, we show you how to get connected. Find out how to choose an internet service provider. Discover the newest form of communication, electronic mail.
Ways down and ready to ride. One by one, billion by billion, and holding up half the sky. Raise your hand if you're ready and willing. If you know it's time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a girl on time. Time for a
Goodness gracious, golly gee. I hope everybody is doing well today. I hope you can hear me. Hi, Shirtless Dad. I am not shirtless today. But I'm having a great day so far. I am glad that you're joining me in the kitchen. I have to make my coffee. But we are, first of all, cleavage today, yes. Cleavage, and I've lost some weight because I'm going to the gym. Excited. Anyways, and I was just dancing around to the Spice Girls before we start. I was watching this thing where somebody was asking how not to be nervous when speaking in front of people, and I mean, that's not really my problem. I've really never had that issue, but I realized that the advice that he gave them is something that I already do, which is to get your heart rate going and sort of get pumped up so that you can manage the adrenaline that flows through if you first start giving a presentation or something like that. And I realized I always dance and sing and jump around like a crazy person, entertaining everybody. I actually think it would be almost a better show to watch the pre-show, but of course it would change if I thought people were watching. But anyways, William, welcome. Guys, we're gonna get started on our recipe for today. You'll notice it looks a bit messy behind me. So upon research, we are using these chickpeas. I got them from Walmart. They're about $1.30 for 19 ounces. And the key factor with this, if you are using these or you're going to follow along when you're doing this yourself, is to dry these out. So what I did first was I poured them into a strainer. I rinsed them under the sink. Then I poured them out onto here. You could do it onto a paper towel. I'm a hippie. I want to have paper towels, but I'm also cheap. So this is a clean towel. And you basically want to make sure that they're dry. So either you can air dry them for an hour before you're gonna roast them, or you could do this method. You lay them out and then you just roll over top of them and dry them out. That's what I've done. I've done a bit of both. As soon as I read that they needed to be dry, I got them out of the can, rinsed, and dried out, and that was maybe an hour ago. So if you're doing this along at home, this snack is great because, first of all, it's cheap. We know I love cheap snacks. But think about it. I mean, it's you can buy dried chickpeas at the store, roasted chickpeas at the store, but they're quite expensive for what you get. And so, and the calories here, so 125 milliliters. The problem is they don't make it very fucking simple to do all of this. Okay, so 540 milliliters in the pack, and it says for every 125 milliliters, it's 100 calories. So that's gonna be 400 or 500 calories for this can. And if you're talking about density of calories for money, that's one of the best deals you could probably get for protein. It's plant-based protein, obviously, but if you think about it, it is a good deal. You guys are funny. I'm laughing at the chat. Okay, so we're gonna do that. An announcement about tonight. So we are gonna have a show tonight. It is gonna be an earlier show. Think 3 p.m. my time, 6 p.m. your time, most likely, depending on where you are, because I have a family dinner tonight. Maybe I'll be taking the roasted Sorry, I thought I heard the door. Roasted chickpeas. I won't be. I'll be eating those myself. But it's my family. Can you believe it, William? Anyways, so hi, Rose. So just keep that in mind. It'll be an earlier show tonight. I gotta get to the gym in between the two shows. That's the goal. Oh, my coffee's done. Perfect. So I'm gonna stir this. We're gonna get started listening to... Oh no, I wasn't at a family dinner last night. I just didn't work. I'm unapologetically Canadian. Let's say that. I'm unapologetically Canadian, even though I'm an immigrant to Canada. And so I like to take off national holidays. That really was it. I did not do family dinner last night. I had family in the house, so that's why I couldn't be in the kitchen. But oh wow, Cellulite Yoga Pants, you're a better mom than I am. Well, we used to do that. Oh, sorry. My phone goes off a lot during the day with all the courts that I follow. But we are going to Thurston County today, and it's a good day for a good day. I'm so excited, you guys. I need to charge my Fitbit before I go to the gym. That's what I need to do. Yeah, messing up the couch. I get that. The thing is this, right? Like, certain people eat well on a schedule and certain people don't. So, for example, we're going to Nana's house for dinner tonight with my daughter and my sister and the baby and all that kind of stuff. And my daughter called me and talked to me, and she said, do you know what we're having for dinner? And so when I was a kid, this would also be problematic for me. I didn't do well with, like, food change or, like, being forced to eat something that I didn't like or know about. And I've grown as an adult. I've begun to like new foods and all that kind of stuff. But as a kid, I was very stuck in my ways. But it caused a lot of anxiety in me. And that's what I sort of tried to eliminate for my daughter. So as soon as I heard her say that, I recognized, like, oh, you know, maybe this is a repeat of that. So I just said to her, I was like, oh, yeah, I don't know what we're having, buddy, but how about this? We'll have a good time, we'll try and eat, you know, whatever it is that is served, but between you and I, if it's not enough or not good or whatever, we'll just go get something afterwards. And that's all I wanted to hear as a kid. That's really all I wanted to hear was, like, you can try this, but if it doesn't work, I'll back you up with something else later that you will eat. And she was just like, oh, okay, thanks. And I was like, perfect. And that way, you know, she can go to the dinner, we can all sit there and eat and not be weird about it. And then if we need to, we can hit up wherever afterwards. And here's the thing. What was put on the table was what you ate, or you went hungry. Sally Port, I wasn't allowed to go hungry. I was kept at the table for hours. Many, many hours I was kept at the table. That's not what's happening at Nana's house. It's that she's making, I think, mince and potatoes, which is just like a pretty classic Scottish meal. But my daughter is a bit bougie, you know. She's bougie. That's my fault, giving her sushi and shit when she was a toddler. Anyways, the thing is, William, I almost agree with that. I worry sometimes about, like, food safety. Speaking of, I'm gonna wash my hands. We'll wash our hands and get us started for today. So we're gonna roast these chickpeas in the air fryer. If you have an air fryer at home, I bet you clean it more than I do. I'll say that. I bet you clean it more than I do. Lima beans, 2 hours. Ooh, ooh. My worst was lentil soup and tofu. My mom was a very early adopter of tofu 30 years ago. 30 years ago, giving us tofu. And it was, oh, Casey Carey. Thank you so much for the super chat. I saw it up there earlier. I have a different setup here, but let me say thank you. Did you hear that? I didn't hear it. I hope you guys heard it. Oh man. Sally Port. No, seriously, Casey Carey, I adore you. You hid them under your shirt when no one was looking. Well, this was back in the days of house phones, so I would wait, just beg for a phone call to come. Oh, good. I'm glad you heard it. And then I would put them back in the bowl, like in the pot. Or our dining room table had a ledge under it. So it was like a ledge, a gap, and then the top of the table. And I would put things up on the ledge. We didn't have a dog. And we would, and then I would come back later and collect them to get rid of them. Also, the thing that really freaked me out about the tofu, I remember one time, so this was even before you would like cook it with anything. She would just like make it plain, cut it up, and then she would brush it with like a teriyaki or something like that. And I don't know how I managed, but I took the food into my room. And I put it in a drawer or something like that, and it was in there forever, and it never changed. Like it was like that McDonald's sandwich that never grows and changes and shit. It was crazy. Anyways, you know what? I think what I've learned about food is that it can be very individual. For me, like with ADHD, I'm unmedicated right now, so it's not as big of a deal. But when I'm medicated for ADHD, I would probably not eat very often for dinner, even at family gatherings, because I'm medicated. It's like you either get loud and obnoxious Paisley, but she's not going to eat anything, or you get hungry Paisley, or you get loud and obnoxious Paisley and she'll eat, or you get quiet or demure Paisley, but she ain't gonna eat anything, and then people think I have an eating disorder. I'm like, bitch, I don't have an eating disorder, okay? Quite obviously. Oh, chickpeas. Okay. Anyways, let's get going with Thurston.
Third hand.
Oh, shut up. Don't yell at me, for God's sakes. Okay, first of all, we'll start with these annoying people, and then we'll move on from there.
Comments are directed at me. Don't speak to the other party or anything like that, which is, there's been some tense and emotional things going on out there that I haven't been privy to, but that's not going to happen in here. Everybody's going to speak directly to me. And we're going to start with the Thalhammers. You can come up and take, I guess there's 2 seats there. You can go there. And then Mr. Murphy, you should come up and take that seat there. Once, give Ms. Thalhammer a chance to get situated there.
Yeah, can she come up with me, because it's also pertaining.
Yeah, no, if you want to call her as a witness, you can, but right now she's going to stay there. I just want named parties up at the table.
That sounds good, Casey Carey. I'm just looking up the air fryer
Before we
recipe, but you guys,
start-
I think it's very simple.
Well, it is working now. Hang on just a minute. My computer is back online. I'm gonna do one other thing here before we start.
Yeah, before you start to judge, I'm gonna, Rachel, we're cooking, chickpeas. We're roasting them. We've rinsed these and dried them. They're dry now, and I'm about to take some parchment paper to put in the bottom of my air fryer, and then we're gonna just dump them in the air fryer. We're not even adding oil, bitches. You know why? Because oil.
As I said before,
Judge.
these are anti-harassment petitions. I believe all of these are. Harassment is defined as
Yeah, harassment is defined as my relationship with oil. Oil harasses me, I get fat. No, seriously though, 2 teaspoons of oil is 80 calories. I guess that's not that bad, but you don't need to add the oil. The air fryer is in itself a magical thing. So what I'm gonna do here is just rip that in half. Now we have one of these. Wait, what are you hoping is gonna happen when you hit menopause? Mikey? Oh, you guys are funny. Anyways, we're about to put the chickpeas in the oven and listen to these people bitch. We got a chase today. Excited. Glad that you boys are back, Mikey. Vanilla buttercream graham crackers. Casey Carey, that sounds really good.
a knowing and willful course of conduct directed at a specific person that seriously alarms, annoys, harasses, or is detrimental to such person that serves no legitimate or lawful purpose. Course of conduct must be such as would cause a reasonable person to suffer substantial emotional distress and must actually cause substantial emotional distress to the petitioner. Course of conduct is defined by a pattern of conduct composed of a series of acts over a period of time, however short, evidencing continuity of purpose. Course of conduct includes any form of communication, contact, or conduct, including the sending of electronic communication, but does not include constitutionally protected free speech. And so with that, who's going to speak for the Thalhammers? You can stay seated. And what's your name, sir?
Scott Thalhammer.
Could you raise your right hand, please? You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. How is it you need an order against Mr. Murphy?
Sir, I'd like to present the statement. We have engaged with counsel and want our case to proceed with representation. Our attorney is not available to present our case today because he has another case at exactly this time. And he will need more
Who's your
time.
attorney?
Our attorney is Justin Huxford with Bud Bay Law.
That's okay. Has he submitted a notice of appearance?
I am not sure, Your Honor.
When did you engage him? I am. He has not. What? When did you
I
engage
have
him?
a Your Honor, would you like to see this letter?
No, I'm asking you. I'd like you to answer my question.
Yes, sir. We do have an engagement letter here in my hand dated September 25.
Sounds like my ex-husband with the difficulty getting past the engagement date. That's not paper towel, Mikey. This is parchment paper that is meant to go in the oven and air fryers. We talked about, I don't use paper towel because I'm a bit of a hippie, which is why we have a purple towel here that I'm drying these out on as opposed to paper towel. So we're going to set the air fryer to 380 degrees for 12 minutes, and we're going to shake them in between, and we're going to do 2 batches. The key with air fryers is not to overfill them because the air needs to circulate. Start. Okay. No paper towels is un-American. That's right, MB. So is taking off yesterday afternoon for National Truth and Reconciliation Day. Oh, look, I'm so pulling my shirt down, apparently. Anyways, these people are just so contrary. Paper towels are for bacon or messy. Honestly, listen, here's the thing. I joke a little bit. It is mostly cost why I don't buy paper towels. If they were cheap, I would buy paper towels all the time. But they're not. But is laundry detergent cheaper? Like, these are the questions that I don't ask, you know? We also have cloth napkins in this house. Is that not normal? Like, my whole life I've had cloth napkins. Even when I went to school, my mom... But they required it at my school. I don't know. I went to Montessori.
2024.
All right. Did he say when he would be available?
Yes, sir. He said, can I read the rest of the statement that he wrote for us?
Well,
It has the dates in here.
okay.
He said
So,
here,
no, I don't want you to read that.
okay, it's, he
Okay,
said he will
okay, I'm
be,
gonna ask you, is he available 2 weeks from today on the 14th?
sir, he said he's only available on October 14 or October
That's
28.
2 weeks from today.
Uh,
So hang on just a second. Mr. Murphy,
Yes, sir.
good morning.
no.
And so you heard what they said, which I didn't know till now. Generally, I do allow that when attorneys come in, they'll wanna reset it. So I'd be inclined just to reset this for 2 weeks, and then we can reconvene on the 14th and figure out. There's not an order in place. And so we're not, again, I'd remind everyone, there's no order in place here right now. And so that would be inclined to do here for today. You can appear by Zoom at the next hearing, if that's more convenient, but it's up to you. You have it, and I'd understand, probably you want to get this resolved here today. And,
I'd like to, yes.
but Jen, it's just my general practice to allow one continuance of this sort.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Well,
I'm just speaking for my household, me and my husband.
right,
Prior to, starting this hearing, I actually approached
right.
Mr. Murray.
Right, so-
I just don't want this to linger on as much as he would like it to
Okay.
linger on.
So hang on just a minute. So just a minute.
'Cause I
So
know how-
hang on,
how-
let me finish. Let me speak here for a minute. Okay. So you're the petitioner. You folks. are
Both
the-
of
okay.
us,
Yes,
yes, sir.
okay, right. And so you're the ones asking for the order. So let me finish, please, ma'am. Just please don't cut me off. And so now I hear from Mr. Thalhammer, we want to set.
Oh, I'm so contrary. I love to cut people off when they say don't cut me off. This is the second batch of chickpeas. What I've decided, in my brilliance, is that we will do one with no oil, one with oil, and then we'll determine which is the best. Also, we didn't grow up in a trailer. I didn't grow up in a trailer park, but my mom did. And yeah, we've always had like dishcloths and then cloth napkins, and I continue that because like I have a basket of cloths right beside everywhere. What did chickpeas? Oh, hello. Oh, it's saying add food. I did already. So, oh my gosh, look at the difference already, even from just the preheat, you guys. Chickpeas, well, I don't know. I'll taste one and tell ya. A bit like nothing. I think they, oh shit, I dropped some. I think they're meant to, or they're the what you make hummus out of. So it takes on other flavors very well. So for example, if you wanted to dust this with garlic, I use this Tex-Mex, or sorry, mild chili seasoning. That would be good. No, I'm not making hummus. I have 2 packs of hummus. I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to hummus, and this is my favorite brand of hummus. It's a local brand called Holy Hummus, It's gourmet garlic bean dip, they call it. And I love how what they say here is keep cool, 4 degrees Celsius, eat soon, buy more. And so this includes chickpeas olive oil, organic lemon juice, no sulfites, organic tahini, garlic, spices, and sea salt. But so I'm making roasted chickpeas so they end up crunchy like a snack or something you could put on top of a salad. But you can absolutely make it into hummus. Two tablespoons of hummus is 80 calories. Anyways, I don't think this is going to take as long as we thought originally as the recipe calls for because they're going quick. But let's continue with this case. The judge is, but first of all, back to the court. The judge has just said to the guy, you want a continuance? And then his wife says, I don't want a continuance. I don't got. All right, lady.
This over. So, and you have an attorney, and when you have an attorney, it's not a great idea to be speaking to the other side. I'm just going to say that. So from where I sit, it looks like you are the folks who are asking to have this linger on to another hearing. So, I mean, I guess I'm kind of which is a long way of saying I'm getting kind of conflicting messages between you two. He's saying, let's set this over. You're saying, I don't want this to linger on. So
If
I can say
if I could
something.
say that she's a
No.
local medical doctor.
okay, so
If
hang on
I
just a
can
second.
say-
So she's talking and I'll hear from here. And I think if she's a medical doctor, I'm quite confident that she can speak for herself.
I
Go
just
ahead,
would
ma'am.
like to say that the reason why I approach him is I was hoping that we can just settle this instead of being in the court.
This
And
morning you
this
approached
morning
him.
I approached him and
Right.
I asked him, I introduced myself and I just wanted to extend basically if we can just agree, if he can agree not to, drive or use the loud, explosive noise that will wake me and my husband up.
So
And he mentioned to me that, you should not be
I'm
talking.
going to stop you. And again, he's right. You probably shouldn't, given the emotions involved. And the second thing is now he's even more right that once you have an attorney, I don't think your attorney wants him talking to you either. And so, yes, if you can work this out, if you're, then that's fine. But he shouldn't be talking to you right now. If you have, and I'm told now you have an attorney. That's the last thing I would think that you, and I'm pretty sure your attorney doesn't want you talking to him either once you're retained. Go ahead, ma'am.
I was hoping that he will agree with that. I
Well-
will not have the lawyer get involved here.
Okay.
That was my whole intent.
Okay.
Because
Well-
if we can settle that, because I can
So, ma'am,
understand,
hang on just a second. I can't do anything without your attorney being here. Can't do it. Once you have an attorney, then the attorney speaks for you and you can't. And
I just
so-
would like you to understand that, my whole intent when I spoke with him is to hopefully that he will agree and that I will just drop
To this letter, out of court.
out of court settlement, that if
Okay.
he agrees that I will just drop this.
Then you
because
need, you know what, now that, but that can still happen. But now that you have an attorney, that needs to go through the attorney and that's the rules of the game there.
The record, can this letter be entered? Your Honor?
For what purpose? It's an offer of settlement really isn't, if that's what that is, that's not really germane to the issue.
That we're
And an
just-
offer of settlement really is something a deciding judge can't really consider. Look, you have an attorney now. What you need to do is speak to your attorney and then get some counsel from him. And that's where we're at. And Mr. Murphy, I will tell you, chances are that their attorney may reach out to you and you can speak to them if you want to, or you don't have to if you don't want to. And so that's where we're at. We'll give you a notice. We'll give you both a notice of hearings here for the 14th. And then we'll be back here at that time.
I have another question, Your Honor.
Sure.
So when I was talking with him, he mentioned that
Who's him?
Mr. Murray here, He
Okay,
mentioned that you don't know what's going to happen after this hearing. It is not a threat, but to me, I just want to have
Okay.
peace in our community.
right.
And I have not been sleeping well for days when his truck really wakes me up.
It's a car,
in the middle.
Camaro.
It's a loud, it's like an explosive. It will wake me up in the middle of
Well-
the night. But the point that I'm making here is now that we're going to move this hearing 2 weeks from today,
Right.
what am I about to experience? Am I going to be harassed with loud noises, not giving me peace and sleep that I need?
Okay, so ma'am, I can't predict the future. And I think I said at the temporary hearing, I had some reservations about this at the beginning. And so I don't know what's gonna happen, other than we're gonna reset it for 2 weeks and then we'll reconvene then and figure out where we go from here. But that's what's gonna happen. So you can get notice, one of the Thalhammers, Mr. Thalhammer, you can come up and grab that, and then you're free to go.
2 weeks, guys. We're gonna see these bitches back about the Camaro. Can you even get mad at somebody about the sound of their car? Can that be harassment? I would like to file a harassment claim against my roommate for his loud, annoying
Mr. Murphy, why don't you come on up and get this, and
motorcycle.
then you could probably be a great idea for folks to leave separately. You can take that, and then Mr. Murphy and you, ma'am, could go ahead and leave, and then you're all free to leave also.
Also, I live on a busy road, and I sleep with my window open. I can sleep through anything, but that strikes me very odd. If you don't want noise, you can't live in the city.
You're welcome.
Okay, so these are coming along really good, you guys. I don't think that we need Judge. Just watch, okay? Does my roommate watch this channel? No, absolutely never. They're so close. I
So
think-
Ms. Pope, why don't you come on the
Judge.
Zoom call, and Ms. Wren can come on the cell phone.
Judge.
This is a holdover from last week.
Yes, this is the case we're gonna watch today. Anyways, I'm gonna finish these up. The next one's
Ms. Wren, you need to
to.
unmute your phone, please.
That's hilarious.
Ms. Wren, you there?
Yeah, she's on the phone.
Oh, did we lose Tamaya Santos?
She was trying to get phone.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to that in a minute. So Ms. Pope and Mr. Garner are both here. Who's going to speak first?
You want me to? Okay. I'll start.
Okay, could you raise your right hand, please? Swear information testimony you provide will be the truth and nothing but the truth? Did you hear me?
Yes.
Mr.
Oh,
Mr.
yeah,
Garner,
sorry.
did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Oh.
do
You. Sorry.
you swear and affirm the information? Okay, did you say yes when I asked you if
I did. Sorry.
all right, I missed it. They keep telling me technology's supposed to make my life better. So go ahead. I'll hear from you. How is it you need an order against, hang on, give me just a minute here. I need to call up the right case.
Sure, Judge. You take your time. I'm gonna pull these out. It was a chickpea skin. They have a bit of a skin around them, and that was the towel.
And so I guess I start. This is your, basically a next door neighbor, is that
So
correct?
Rude.
Correct.
All right. Go ahead. I'll hear from you.
Yeah. So we moved into this apartment in October last year. Around Christmas, late December, we started having issues. It started with me and my son were playing outside in the backyard. And I had walked onto the porch just outside of Miss Wren's vision. And probably a few seconds later, I started hearing little boy, Miss Wren calling out Emery to just asking him to come over. And I promptly brought my son inside, and that was about that. But, left us very uncomfortable. You shouldn't be calling over a little kid. And so since then we've seen, or sorry, since that point, we had several occasions where she would come over to the fence and try to talk to our son when he was out there, talk to our dog. And then I know Isabel had talked to her a few times and asked her to leave us alone, stop calling over the dog, stop calling over our son. And we got a knock on the door. I'm not sure exactly when, but it was from Animal Services saying that our dog was being neglected. Yes. And so they came in, they checked everything, saw that it was unfounded. They said that if it happens again, that they'll just ignore it and go from there. And I think after that, then we saw Miss Wren at the fence again saying, "Oh, I understand she's a guard dog. It's not even that. It's just the dog doesn't like the small apartment. She wants to be outside." And then we also will hear, I know that I heard it one night, just her yelling to take her dog inside. And it was like 8 or so. And mind you, we take her dog every night before bed. And so it just shouldn't be yelling through our windows. And then we also got a knock at the door. I know that I was at work during that time, but do you want to speak on that?
May I share this? Because this was kind of pertaining to me, but I haven't been sworn
Could
in.
you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You can put your hand down. Go ahead, ma'am.
So I was cooking dinner, and it was just my son and I in the apartment, and the windows were open, the back door was open, dog was outside, of course, and my son misbehaved. I can't remember exactly what he did, so I put him on timeout. What we do is put him on timeout for the amount of minutes as his age. So I put him on timeout for 3 minutes, and of course he's 3, so he's crying.
That is the going rate these days. When I put myself on timeout, it is for 36 minutes. Usually that's just like a gift to a mother, though, giving yourself a 36-minute break. Anyways, so the first batch came out. They look great. You can tell that they've definitely firmed up. And you can hear they're crunchy. Now, I've decided that I'm going to use oil on this one, and I can already tell you don't need it. Like, we've done it without oil already, and they did great. So, again, if you're trying to reduce your fat or your calorie intake, getting into the oil is the easiest way. Because just 2 teaspoons of this, and I measured it, okay? I don't usually measure oil. I'm a bit of a free pourer, but that's why I'm fat. So, per 2 teaspoons, I measured it. Now I'm also gonna cover with, I have some kosher salt here. Is it kosher or coarse? Is it coarse or kosher, Paisley? Can you please not appropriate things that are not yours to appropriate? It's just coarse sea salt. It is not kosher salt. I'm a liar. So I'm going to use some of that. I'm going to mix it ahead of time a little bit. That's probably enough. And then we'll do these ones. Oh, these ones are probably going to be pretty tasty. Salt just looks delicious, doesn't it? What's that? Oh, American. Oh no! I hate it when people die. They do it every day. Also, what vibe are we getting here with these neighbors? And B, I liked your comment about them being on a ad for sexy times. I need another coffee.
And 3 minutes is up. I take him off timeout and I begin talking to him and explaining to him why he's on timeout. And I hear a voice, and I think maybe the TV's on. So I kind of go around and check, like just check the area, see if maybe I left something on. And I saw Miss Wren standing at our fence on the phone talking, and I peek out the door and I say, please get away from the fence. And she said, I'm on the phone with the police. You're neglecting your child. He's been crying for his mommy, and you're not responding to that. And at this point, I'm just frustrated. And you can hear me on her phone with the police call saying, get away from my property, get away from my fence, leave me alone. And I'm so frazzled at this point. I call the police. I ask someone to come out because saying I'm neglecting my kid, that's a serious accusation. And the police come out and they come in and look at my son. I explained the situation and they said that there seems to be no sign of neglect. It's just a 3-year-old crying. And I told the police what was going on, that we've just had problems after problems. And at this point, I feel like I'm being harassed. And the police officer said if I felt the need to, I could go file a protection order. So the next day or the day after, I believe I went to the court to file a protection order.
Yeah.
All right.
And then
Anything further there, Mr. Garner?
yeah, so we after she was served the first time, it is the first time that we've done any sort of order or any sort of court anything. So we it took us 3 times to figure it out. And so we served her the first time, but it was late. The second time, we thought that the first order was fine, and so on and so forth. But between those instances, our son was at home with our babysitter, Isabel's cousin. And while she was out there playing with our son Emery, he got scared by a spider, and he yelled. And Kathleen started trying to speak to him again. And it's just after the order was already put in. And I know that there's not a temporary thing, but it's just after we've asked, after she's aware that there's still a court case and she's still trying to reach out to our son.
Yeah, we just want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And I just don't, want to worry about my son in the backyard called over, like my dog being called over. I just want to be left alone.
All right. Let me hear from Ms. Wren. Ms. Wren, you on the Zoom call?
No, I'm not on Zoom. I'm on the telephone.
You're on the
I'm on the
telephone. You're on the
phone
cell phone. All right.
Yeah,
So could you raise your right hand?
yes,
You swear and affirm the information and testimony you provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes, I do.
So what say you to all of this?
Okay, so first of all, I've never seen Zachary Garner, it says here. I've never seen him in my life. I've seen and spoke with Isabella Pope twice ever, and it was not up to the fence other than the 911 call that I had to make on the day. Well, I don't even have the exact date on that day when that occurred. I know it's been at least about a month and a half ago. So I'll just start. So about a month and a half ago, I had heard a child screaming and yelling, and this did not go on for 3 minutes like they said. It went on for several minutes, maybe 7, 8 minutes.
Ma'am, where are you located where all the phones are going off? Like, it's nuts. Also, this is so weird. Like, I'm beyond perplexed why these neighbors are so involved. I don't know my neighbor's name. I don't know them. I get it. In our old house, we were like lived there for 20 years, and yeah, I knew some of the neighbors. But even if somebody was screaming, I do remember one time somebody was screaming so bad that like I went out to make sure. But like children screaming, I'm sorry, lady, that's not abnormal. A 3-year-old will cry for more than 3 minutes. Yes, they'll cry for 10 minutes. They might even cry for 30. Okay, that's not neglect of a child. And in fact, it strikes me as harassing. It would be very difficult to deal with. You can imagine you're already dealing with a child that didn't come with a fucking instruction manual. And then you've got your neighbor calling the cops on you. Oh my God. That would actually be very stressful. Very stressful indeed. Second batch is in. Third coffee is in. Yeah, we're gonna get there. Also, my daughter, like, we cried certain things out. Obviously, we babies, please keep in mind, you do not let little babies cry it out, okay? That has to be said because little babies need love, affection, attention, and their only means of communication is via crying. And so you don't leave a baby crying all the time. Once you've talked to your doctor about it and they're like, oh, this is colic or this is whatever, we called it the period of purple crying in Canada. They make you watch a video about it before you leave the hospital about shaking babies because it's very serious. It can be very overwhelming to deal with a small child who you cannot communicate with effectively, and there's a mismatch. You cannot make them better in that moment. And again, adding in the added stress of a neighbor popping up and calling the police about it. Like, in the good old days, a neighbor might pop over and say, oh dear, let me have help you. Like, can I take the baby for a walk? If they were real neighbors and close, but this is just somebody putting in, complaint after complaint. I think she's probably pissed that their dog's outside. Courtney, you were a very good silent baby. I loved pacifiers. My daughter would never take one. I was very depressed about it, but anyways. All right, coffee, and let's see what the judge says. At least they're not fighting about trees.
But to the extreme, it just sounded like, and I am a mom too, I have 2 boys. It sounded like the child was in hurting, like something had happened. I wasn't in fear that the mother was neglecting or hurting her child in any way. I just thought, this isn't right. There's something not right about this. So I personally cannot physically walk very far. So I decided to make a 911 call. And so when I was trying to talk with them, I was trying to get over there as best I could with my walker and let her know I was on the phone. Is everything okay with her? And she said, get on. I was on the phone with 911. She said, get off my property. I said, ma'am, I'm not on your property. And 911 call can verify that. I said, I am not on your property. I'm on the other side of the fence, which there's like 5 fences that link their property across from mine. I'm about 40 feet behind them. So anyways, I was on the phone and she's yelling and screaming. And so 911 operator got a police officer on the phone with me and said that they couldn't get any officer over to me at that time. So she said, but what you could do is call CPS. You could, there's other things you could do. And I said, no, I don't feel like it's that. I did not feel she was neglecting her child in any way. And I just said, I just feel like maybe the child's hurt or the mom couldn't get to him, something's going on. So, so that's what happened with that. Then all of a sudden, a police officer starts walking towards me. So I'm, he said, yes, he goes, I heard that you had called. And I said, yes. And I explained what was going on about the child. I didn't make any accusations whatsoever about the mother neglecting this child or father or whoever. I don't even know this guy. I've never even seen him in my life ever. And so the next part is him. Oh, this testimony, Your Honor, is unbelievable. I literally can't walk. I have no knees. I have scoliosis, spinal stenosis, degenerative disc disease, no knees. I can barely get around. I have 2 caregivers that have to come in and take care of me. I have, which has shown.
Hold on, did she just say she has no knees? New fear unlocked? No knees? They're gonna take them? They're taking my knees? Also, all your guys' comments about tantrums and kids is hilarious to me. Okay, so my daughter wouldn't take a pacifier. I desperately wanted her to, but she was breastfed, and she breastfed for 2.5 years. So, in fact, she did have a pacifier. It was just me. Also, these are almost done now. See, I don't think the oil was needed. It just, like, they crisped up just the same, almost actually better without the oil. I'm gonna say that. I'm saying it. It's not just because I'm trying to get skinny. I'm being serious. It seems like they did better without the oil. I'll finish this off 2 more minutes. And then the last thing is, when I was a kid, in the store, I would use my mom's first name instead of calling her mom. I would say Paisley's mom. Well, insert her name. Let's call her Stacy. Stacy, that's not her name. That used to be my name that I wanted. You know when you have a name that you want when you're a kid? It was Stacy. Anyways, she'd be like, Paisley, it's time to go. And I'd be like, Stacy, don't touch me. Get away from me. And she'd be like, Paisley, it's time to go. And I'd be like, sorry, Stacy, like, I would be so fucking standoffish. And she actually took me to a psychiatrist or a psychologist about it. And the psychologist was like, well, it actually means that she's quite precocious because she's already differentiated you from mom to being who you are. And my mom's like, yeah, but it's problematic when we're at the grocery store and she's acting like she don't know me. I wanted to change it to Stacy so bad. It was, I believe 1,000% because of the Babysitter's Club books. I really idealized Stacy, who had diabetes in those books, if I recall correctly. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, I was a persnickety kid. I went to a Montessori school. We wore uniforms. My mom one time took me to school and I wouldn't get dressed in the morning and she just took me to school in my pajamas, and then I got dressed in the car because I was being a little brat. And I'm a brat. Oh, Boxcar Kids. Oh, I've read them all. I love the Boxcar Kids. I love the Babysitter's Club. I read basically all of those books. Were my childhood. I had no friends. I just had books. All right, these are done now. Let's finish this case, see what the judge does. Call it a day. Oh, fuck, we've already been going an hour.
Showed up to court on that day, and I was supposed to come there. I couldn't drive or make it. And she's there for like medical court if I had it, which I have not been to court in a lot of years since my divorce. And this testimony I'm blown away. I am blown away. the one thing especially when
I'm
somebody's
gonna,
making
hang on just a second. I'm gonna stop you here. Can you stop for a
Okay.
second?
Sure.
So I guess I'm not too sure why you're blown away. I think you said you're a parent, and
Yes.
don't you think that it would be fairly, I mean, and I'm one too, and
Yeah.
you know, I you know, kids are gonna cry sometimes. Kids are gonna scream
Sure.
sometimes. It happens to everyone. And do you see how that
Yeah.
might be upsetting for some kid who's a 3-year-old who I don't know any of you folks, but I've seen 3-year-olds throw tantrums before. Sometimes.
Junie B. Jones, fucking classic. Roll on G. I love Junie B. Jones. Also, we've done a story time on this channel before as a members only when I read one of my favorite books, children's books, which is called Something from Nothing. If you're a member, you should go back and check that out if you haven't seen it yet. But I love reading. I loved reading as a kid. And I still read every day. I just read on the computer. But anyways, Junie B. Jones. Oh, I wanted to be the Boxcar Children so bad, by the way. It was terrible. I wanted to be an orphan. You know? Like, oh. Also, there was a Robert Munch book about a kid that drew on themselves with indelible marker, like permanent marker. That was a funny book, too.
Sometimes they go on longer than 3 minutes. And do you see how that might be upsetting to a parent who's having to deal with that tantrum, at the same time have the cops show up and say, hey, what are you doing to your kid? So, I mean, I guess I'm a little bit surprised that you're finding that this is so unbelievable. I think that'd be upsetting to any parent, wouldn't it?
No, I'm not. That's not what's unbelievable. The unbelievable part are the accusations of me when she's saying on page 11 of 13, she's saying that I am afraid she will try to take my son or my dog because she continues to harass me. That is a huge accusation. I mean, Your Honor, I physically could not get over the fence for one thing. I could barely walk over in that yard because of all the potholes. I have empathy for her. I absolutely get it.
Okay,
I think this
so
is
hang on just a
probably
second, just a second. I'm going to stop you again because the other
Okay.
thing is, you know, this dog, apparently you made a complaint to animal services of some sort, which I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about this dog. You know, all dogs have different habits of that sort. I mean,
Your
do
Honor,
you see how that would be? I was a dog owner. I'm not a dog owner anymore, unfortunately, but I mean, I think that would be fairly upsetting if animal services showed up at my front door saying, hey, what are you doing to your dog? Do you see how that would be upsetting?
Sure. But I did not call animal services. Please ask them where the proof is, because there's no proof of this. This is all false information, Your Honor. That's why I'm upset. I literally am struck. You know what I worry about? I have a son that just went into Coast Guard and got in a over 100 miles an hour bike accident and spent 2 months in the hospital. You know what? Those are the things I worry about. I know having a child, how important it is to keep them safe. I do. Miss Isabel, I understand that. That's your child, your pride, your everything. And I would be protective too. But I literally, I just want to resolve this. I do not mean you guys any harm. I have not been up to your fence coercing your child to come to the fence in any way. And I don't know your dog, so I'm not going to go approach a dog if it's going to attack me. I'm not. I have so many medical issues, Your Honor. I just literally, I'm sorry, I don't have time for this. But I understand. So I know, you're the judge, you're going to make the decision, but literally I'm not going to go out in my backyard. That's where I spend my kind of zen time, my little garden area. And I'm not going to look straight forward every single day of my life. It's ridiculous. I'm not going to harm their children or their dog.
I think they want you just to leave them alone. Don't call out to the child. Don't just let them run their own dog the way they want to.
Absolutely. You're right.
That makes sense?
No. It makes sense. Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to come back to Ms. Pope and Mr. Garner. How long have you folks lived there?
About a year.
Yeah, we're coming up on a year.
Okay. And then she was there when you moved in?
Yes.
Correct.
How did you get along before all this started?
Spoke to her before this.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
We never spoke to her before this.
Okay, all right. All right,
Yeah.
so,
Sorry.
so here's what's gonna happen here today. Go ahead, do you want to say something, Ms. Pope?
Oh, I was just saying the only occasion that I spoke to her was when what I relayed to you when she's at the fence. I told her the dog's fine. Can you just leave us alone? But there was no other. Yeah, sorry.
All right. So here's where we're at today there, Ms. Wren, Ms. Pope, Mr. Garner. I read the definition of anti-harassment or what harassment is and things of that sort earlier. Typically harassment is, well, in the more traditional sense, if two parties are in a relationship, one breaks up, the other person won't leave the other person alone, calling, texting at all hours of the night, or makes some threats to harm, or, I'm going to come over there and beat. We see this a lot in neighborhood situations. Unfortunately, I'm going to come over there and beat you up, or, throw rocks through your windows or something like that. This is somewhat of an unusual case in that, I can't do, constitutionally protected free speech. People can call police. I can't stop them from doing that. I can't stop them from calling. And I don't know whether they called CPS or animal control or not. I can't stop anyone from doing that. But, one thing that I can do is if you're bothering a neighbor more than what they're asking for, then I can do an order to stop that. So Ms. Wren, I've heard I think you have some clear understanding of what Ms. Pope and Mr. Garner expect from their next door neighbor. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
All right.
And
So I'm going to deny the
well.
request for an order. Listen to me. I'm not going to enter an order here today, but I'll tell everybody, if something reoccurs, what sort of contact they want from you, Ms. Wren, and that's none. If they get additional contact or some other things happen, then they can refile and bring back, and next time they'll get the order. Do you understand that?
Okay, yes.
All right. And that's what'll happen here today. So I'm going to deny an order's not going to be entered, but like I say, if everybody should be on the same page as what they expect from each other. And then, like I say, if something else happens there, Ms. Wren, we'll be back here, which no one wants. I mean, they don't want Ms. Pope and Mr. Gardner. They don't want to have to mess around with this. And I don't think you do either. So that'll be it for today.
Thank you.
You're free to leave the Zoom call.
I apologize.
Hang on just a second.
I apologize.
Ms. Wren, you need to stop. Mr. Gardner, you want to say something?
Oh, I was just saying thank you.
You're welcome. Ms. Wren, did you want to say anything?
No, I just want peace with my neighbors. I apologize for anything, any inconvenience, and I hope we can be good neighbors after this, and no more conflict.
Okay, thank you.
Well, the same.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, you all are free to go. Good luck. I hope things get ironed out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Bye.
That is right. What a weird case that was. Well, that thank you was for all of you. I saw it come up. I didn't hear it, but I saw it come up. So our chickpea experiment was very good. Let's wrap this up. I actually believe that the better version is without oil. This is the version without oil. And then we have here, I'm gonna have to store them separate. I mean, I guess I could store them together. I'm probably gonna eat them all, but. And then this is the oiled and salted ones. So, looking pretty good. Yeah. Definitely, you might need to do more than 12 minutes. Maybe 15. And the temperature was 380. So, but they're definitely very good. And like I said, that's a great cheap snack. We're cooking on a budget around here. What was I just thinking of? What was I just thinking of? Oh, tonight. So we have, so what are we starting with? 105, 405 East is, we got a chase, and then I'm going to be live around 3 o'clock Pacific, which is 6 o'clock East. We have a divorce case to watch. It is not the follow-up to the grandparents' rights case, although I know that did happen today. We will follow up on that, but just not today. Like I said, I have plans tonight, going to Nana's house for dinner with my sister, the baby, my baby, who's not a baby anymore. Oh, my baby. I miss having a baby. I do love babies. They are great. Anyways, but that's the good news. I get to hug a baby tonight. Woo! Anywho, I hope that you guys had a wonderful day. Thank you for being here with me. There'll be shows all this week, twice a day. That's right, 2 times a day. I'm gonna go to the gym now. I am feeling good. Things are moving in the right direction. You know, but I was thinking about it. I don't think they should call it losing weight, because you fucking know where it is, and it's a work. They gotta make it a different, I guess that's why they call it a workout. My brain thinks of weird things. Oh, also, we should, shedding weight, that would be a good one. Removing it. I'm removing weight currently from my body via intense exercise and a calorie deficit in reality, but anyways. Oh, and we should do a little book thing one of these days. We'll talk about books. I love how many of us have read similar books. Living a healthier lifestyle, Erica. That's the nice way to put it. But yeah, thank you again so much for being here. Remember that I love you. I am proud of you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Ways down and ready to